So just a goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form. And again, I want to just, in leaving, I want to thank our Vice President, Mike Pence, and Karen. I want to thank Congress, because we really worked well with Congress, at least certain elements of Congress. But we really did. We've gotten so much done that nobody thought would be possible. But I do want to thank Congress. And I want to thank all of the great people of Washington, D.C., all of the people that we worked with to put this miracle together. So, have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Have a good life. We'll see you soon. A fitting end to the Trump presidency, a speech full of puffery and lies. Although, of course, with this president, it always could have been worse. There weren't the worst of his typical lies about the election. He did acknowledge that there is an incoming administration, but we don't have to grade on a curve. It was an embarrassment that he did not even mention the name of his successor, Joe Biden, and the fact that he is making it all about himself and not about the country at all.
Not at all. And look, this is a president trying to write his own legacy, rewrite his own legacy, put it in the context that he sees it, not in the context of reality. As I was watching, I was thinking, meanwhile, here on planet Earth, here's what's really happening. Not the least of which is on the coronavirus. And he talked about the fact that he took credit for the speed of the vaccine. That was the scientists, that was the drug makers who made that happen. And if he's going to talk about the vaccine, how about the fact that the rollout has been a disaster and people aren't getting it the way that they should be getting it. And that is in large part because of his incompetence, and he has ignored the greatest pandemic that we have seen. And that is how he is walking away from this White House, from this presidency, and from the American people.
And in fact, he said as bad as the pandemic was, it's not over.
It is.
The pandemic is still going on. We hit 400,000 deaths yesterday.
He often talks about, or it is often talked about with President Trump, that he believes in the power of, quote, positive thinking. And you can see that in this speech where he pretends as if everything that's happening in this country is in upside down land. That we are in the greatest economy ever, that things are going so well, that people are not suffering is effectively the message that you get from President Trump. And that's just not the reality. He said, we put it in a position that it has never been before. And that's probably true, but just not in the way that he means. The economy is in a really terrible state. People are dying every day. The vaccine isn't being distributed as efficiently as it should be. This is the reality that President Trump is leaving, as you see him now boarding Air Force One with Melania Trump to leave for Florida. I also thought, Jake, that it was notable. The very first thing he said was to praise his own family, who he put in positions of government power, another break in tradition, another break in norms in this country.
There he is. The 45th President of the United States and First Lady Melania Trump waving goodbye to the country. He leaves with the lowest approval ratings of any president after one term in the history of scientific polling.
Melania Trump also leaving with the lowest approval rating of any First Lady in the history of polling, which is a remarkable thing.
The plane, Air Force One, will fly them to Mar-a-Lago, and then the plane will fly back without them on it, and that will be the last time President Trump has been on Air Force One.
And is keeping with the. Oh, there's Biden.
And here is President-elect Biden and soon-to-be First Lady Jill Biden leaving from Blair House across the street from the White House. They apparently were waiting for Donald Trump to wave goodbye because they actually were scheduled to leave a little earlier, about 20 minutes ago, but with the grace and class we have come to expect from them, they waited for Donald Trump to have his moment. They are going to go to mass right now.
That's right. Despite being snubbed, despite having to endure a speech from the man he beat that barely alluded to him and to the challenges that Joe Biden will face, that he obviously did the right thing in waiting. And this is going to be Joe Biden's day. This is, from here on out, I mean, it was really kind of theatrical that we saw Donald Trump go up on that stage, those stairs, and exit as Joe Biden and Jill Biden entered the screen.
And what we are about to see as Joe Biden and Jill Biden go to church this morning is the dawn of a new era, new for the last 4 years, but it's almost in some ways a return to Washington as usual. A denizen of this town, Joe Biden, who's been here most of his adult life, is going to go to church in a storied cathedral that has a long history in Washington with members of Congress from both sides of the aisle, a show of bipartisanship, a show of normalcy this morning as one era ends and another one begins. It's a symbolic thing, but I do think that it really speaks to, at the core, what Joe Biden is about and what he wants to do. And what he wants to do is just bring things back to normal, bring the temperature down a little bit. And, you know, it's not a reality show anymore.